So I recently came across this tweet about Chart GPT. It's basically, it takes GPT text and turns it into charts. So how does this magic work? Well, luckily enough, the code for this is open source and it's actually quite simple. So here we're going to see in action. I write, show me a line chart, line chat, with iPhone sales, Monday 10, Tuesday 20, and then 20 sales. And then afterwards, let's just do some random data. So let's see what it comes up with. This is the app. Question. It was built using React, Next, OpenAI, and Tailwind CSS. And here you can see we've got around 2 weeks of data. And Monday we've got 10, Tuesday 20, and then just random data. So this is really cool. Here we have a chart immediately. Didn't take much work to go and create. So how does it work in the code? Well, here you can click on Start on GitHub and you'll get to the code. This is what the repo looks like. You can see it's been worked on in the last week or so. 52 stars, so just getting started. And here you can go read how you can go and run it. So the app is really, really simple. Basically consists of the front end is like index.tsx. It has a chart component file, and then it has an API, 2 APIs. And that's the entire app basically. So let's take a look here at the front end. This is what it looks like. We generate chart data and we generate the chart type. We'll look at what these APIs look like in a second, but here you can see the 2 APIs we're calling. And this is based on the prompt that we get from the user basically. And yes, here we get input data string. And so the entire app, if we take a look here, this is where we input our data. So let's see what happens with this. We should have an input somewhere over here. Here we see a text area. Here's our input value, set input value. So what do we do with this input value? Let's just take a quick look. When we submit that, we basically get chart type, which is calling one of our APIs. And then once we have the chart type, we go and ask GPT again OpenAI to go and give us data in this format. And from that, we go and generate a chart. So let's see what the APIs look like. They're really, really simple. So first get chart type. So basically what this is doing is giving us like the type of chart, area, bar, line, composed. This is a prompt we're giving to OpenAI. This is the API request we're making to OpenAI. So it's really simple. All we're saying is speak to OpenAI. This is my OpenAI API key, so that you have to pay for that to make these requests. So if you're running this locally or yourself, you need to set this variable. And here's the request. So really quite simple, and it gets returned to the user. And if you want to read the full prompt that is used, you can see it's here. And it takes the input, which is the input data. In terms of the second API, parse graph. So also super, super simple. This is the API, looks really similar to before. Again, we're using DaVinci. And all we do from the front end is pass the prompt, which we can see over here. So that's the 2 APIs. How many lines of code is that? Less than 50 lines of code. And really the bulk of it is really this thing over here. So it's nothing. It's 10 lines of code or so. So that's basically the entire app. And then the last part I'll show you is how do we do sort of the front end? How do we create the components? So this part we actually get in when we were asking for what is the chart type. So we get that from the backend to OpenAPI, gives it to us the correct type. And here you can see we have different components already set. So it looks like there's a lot of magic happening. But basically what is happening here, show me a bar chart. Let's see what happens in this version. Basically, the logic for the app is we're asking the back end, okay, give me the right type. And then after that, we're going to sort of fill in the right data. Has this finished loading? So yeah, cool. It didn't exactly do 2 weeks, I guess, like we had asked, but you can see 10, 20, and it's very nice. It's given us a bar chart for a week. And here you can see this is the code it would have used for that part of it. If we had if it had understood we wanted an area chart, it would have returned that component. And that's really the entire project. Here you can see the data's being passed in. I assume there's data being passed. Yeah, here you can see area chart. The data's passed. Is the bar chart. It was passed. And so OpenAPI has created the data in the right format. And that was done because we have asked for it in a very specific format. Here you can see I want it in exactly this format, which is what this charting library understands. The charting library in question is, which one is it? It's Recharts. And yeah, that's the entire app. So if you want to go contribute, I'm not related to this project at all, but you can this code is all open source. Go fork it, go change it, add nice colors to it. help the project out. But hopefully that gave you a good idea of how simple it is, and sort of this magical time we live in, or maybe not so magical time, where open API is taking our jobs. But yeah, that sort of is quite incredible what you can do. AI turning out, basically generating code and creating charts for us. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something.